And a very good afternoon to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the CBC News Break. The island's mass casualty team was pressed into action following a two-vehicle accident involving a minibus and a motor lorry at Blackrock Main Road, St. Michael this morning. That accident occurred about 10 minutes past 6. A total of 18 people were reportedly injured, with 16 on board the minibus complaining of various pains. The driver of the minibus, 47-year-old Anderson Squires of Oxnard St. James, received lacerations to the forehead and his hands. Now, the most serious was the driver of the lorry, 68-year-old Tony Clark of Fitzvillage St. James, who had to be freed from the vehicle by personnel from the fire service. He received multiple fractures to both legs and was transported to the QEH by ambulance, where his condition is listed as critical but stable. The mass casualty response team included 2 fire tenders with 8 officers under the command of Divisional Officer Errol Gaskin, 3 doctors and 4 nurses from the QEH headed by Dr. Bayer, 3 ambulances, 2 from the QEH and 1 from the BDF, and personnel from the BDF. Meantime, police are also investigating another accident involving a pedestrian and a car along Welchman Hall Main Road in St. Thomas around 8 this morning. 13-year-old Glendine Grace of Bryan Road, Welchman Hall, is now receiving medical attention at the QEH after being involved in an accident with a car driven by 28-year-old Mario Murray of Eden Lodge, St. Michael. Grace complained of pain to her left shoulder, head, left side and left ankle and was transported to the QEH by ambulance. While police are conducting investigations into 2 separate shooting incidents. The first one occurred last night around 9:45 at First Avenue, Weeksland, Goodland, St. Michael. 21-year-old Devon Best of Bank Hall, St. Michael, received a gunshot injury to his left arm. He was transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital by ambulance, was treated and discharged. The second incident occurred this morning just after midnight at Fairfield Main Road, Blackrock, St. Michael. 47-year-old Brian Cumberbatch of Strathclyde, St. Michael, was shot multiple times about his body. He was transported to the QEH by private vehicle for medical attention. His condition is listed as critical. Police are appealing to anyone who can provide any information to assist with these investigations to contact the Blackrock Police Station at telephone numbers 417-7500 or 417-7505. Police emergency at 211. Crime Stoppers at 1-800-TIPS, that's 1-800-8477, or the nearest police station. Now, all information received will be kept strictly confidential. The National Union of Public Workers intends to continue pressing for salary increases, and this is given government's decision to restore the 10% on parliamentarian salaries. Now, that's the word from NUPW President Akani McDowell during a church service to mark the start of Public Workers Week. He stressed that the move is not because the union is seeking to cause trouble, but because they are acting in the workers' best interest.
We are stakeholders in nation building. If the government of Barbados signals to us that our country is in difficult economic times, we have to hold strain. We, the union, have our national interests at heart. However, when the government signals by removing the hold of strain that we are again in a position to do more, then the union will return to its primary mandate of ensuring that the workers are not taken for granted.
Well, a government minister is appealing to trade union leaders to put aside their partisan views and combative stance for the betterment of Barbados. While acknowledging that trade union leaders in the past had their partisan views, Commerce Minister Donville Innes questioned what he says is taking place today. Following repeated calls for an increase in pay for public servants from the NUPW, Mr. Innes described the demands as unreasonable at this time.
Where it going to come from? Who will be sacrificed? It's almost as though that is not their business. But I believe that common sense will prevail. It's a matter that is outside of my domain, and I sit on and follow the debate and listen to them. But I think if we are really to put our country forward in a very sustainable manner, we're going to have a little bit more of a more mature approach.
On another point, Minister Innes says the opposition Barbados Labour Party is well aware that the number of promises it is making cannot be fulfilled should it form the next government, and he has challenged the BLP to come clean with the public.
On one hand, you tell us for an entire week things are bad in the economy, but you're going to fix all the roads. You're going to buy 50 new buses to Transport Board. You're going to restore university education at Capefield campus and wherever else. You're going to retain the size of the public sector. But I think Barbadians are a lot smarter than that. So education and healthcare are two of the areas that consume a sizable part of the government's budget. But more importantly, they're also the two areas that has the greatest impact upon society. So I'm nowhere advocating that we cut back drastically in healthcare or we cut back drastically in education.
Minister Innes says government must continue its conversation with the country on the way forward. Mr. Innes, the MP for St. James South, wants the ruling Democratic Labour Party to move with haste in putting in place its full slate of 30 candidates for the upcoming poll.
So it takes a while to canvass and get people to appreciate who you are, what you stand for, etc. So I expect that we will also address that. We also have, as the Minister of Finance and others have been clearly stating, to ensure that there's no doubt as to where we stand on matters and have a very clear outline of the future of Barbados on the Democratic Labour Party.
A Jamaican woman is now in police custody. Kamon Tashika Carty, who was the subject of a wanted bulletin, turned herself in yesterday. She was being sought in connection with a serious criminal matter. The 24-year-old is currently assisting lawmen with their investigations. Well, for the second year running, the children's ward at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital got a welcomed surprise thanks to the Kiwanis Club of Pride Online Barbados. Yesterday, the recently formed club visited the children's ward to give donations and perform for the patients. The club's public relations officer, Paula Jackman, highlighted that the club's mandate is serving the children of the world and says after a good response from the children last year, they felt encouraged to come again this year.
Last year we came to do a donation to the children's ward, and this year we wanted to come back and bring a little more with us. So we got a donation from Massey Distribution as well as a donation from Broyden's Distribution, and we brought with us Pedro Arthur, who is going to make balloon animals.
And nurse officer of the children's ward, Esther Nelson, says she's grateful to the club for their donation.
Right, on behalf of the staff and the pediatric unit, we want to thank the Kiwanis Club, Pride Online, Barbados, very much for their donation and their presentation to the children's ward.
Well, stay with us. We'll have regional and international news right after the break.